over a period of time going to be speaking with Sanjeev and what an amazing thing he's created. But whenever you start an interview, you kind of have few warm-up questions where you talk about the family, then you talk about the hardships that one's gone through, how did he build his company, etc., etc. But day before yesterday, Sanjeev decided to make headlines. On the front page of every newspaper, it came that Sanjeev decided to buy the Allianz, complete Allianz for 24,000 crore, the general and the life insurance. So Sanjeev, I cannot go to the warm-up questions, but I have to get to point. What was the strategy behind buying and acquiring? This was by far the largest check that anyone's written in the history of insurance sector and one of the largest in NBFC, a 24,000 crore check. How's this going to change the landscape of the insurance industry?
Thanks, Rishi, and thank you for having me here and your family as well. We all family friends. And to my own family. Clearly, they don't have much to do. They're all over here. Thank you. But coming to your question, as you can see, not only me, but all of them, all our pockets are empty. And that's because of this acquisition that we have announced. Some of you may have heard of Bajaj Allianz for its life insurance and general insurance. This was a company started in 2001 with our insurance partners, Allianz. They own 26%, we own 74%. Over the years, over 2 decades and a little bit more, we have built what we think are two of the finest insurance companies in the country. India is an important opportunity in almost every industry, and that's true for financial services, that's true for insurance. And both partners had the ambition to run their business going into the future. And you can't have two captains running one ship. You know what will happen to that ship. So we very amicably decided, they were 26, we were already 74, that we would buy them out and then each one gets to plot our own destiny. So I'm sure in time you'll hear from them as well, but that's where we are.
So there are already rumors about Allianz partnering with Jio, and there was news just this morning also that they might come together. Was there a no-compete, or if they join hands with Jio or any other company, do you feel that would be a force to reckon with in the insurance industry?
So firstly, I don't believe everything I read in the newspapers, except yours. I said except yours. The second is that the insurance space is very large. There are already 50 insurance companies. And Allianz, even today, is a partner. We've announced the exit. It has to go through regulatory approvals and various processes which we hope will happen in the coming months. They are a mature, long-term, conservative player. And we would welcome mature, conservative players into a sector as sensitive and long-term as this. And whether their partnership is with Jio or with somebody else, I think we'll know in some period of time. Of course, our current agreement has a non-compete, and there are triggers when that non-compete will go based on regulatory approvals, transfer of shares, cancellation of the existing joint venture agreement. But all this, as I said, has been decided together.
So let me get back to what otherwise was supposed to be my first question. So you've now built a business which is approximately worth 10 lakh plus crore, give and take. One of the largest NBFCs of the country. But I'm pretty sure when you started, that would have not been the case. It was a small, I want to say SBU or a division, which was part of the family holding. You decided to kind of look at that and then grow. How were the initial days? How was the hustle? How did you go about building it? If you could share that with all of us.
See, it's embarrassing to talk about it when you talk about numbers like that. And I must very clearly say, unless somebody's smiling from up there, this doesn't happen. We got very lucky, let's put it this way. We also have a great team. And I don't think if we were not in India, it would have been easy for us to build something like this. So that's the India opportunity that's available to you. But I must say, yes, 2007 is when I moved from Bajaj Auto with a team, built a team out to build financial services, whether Bajaj Finance, our lending arm, or insurance. We are now in asset management and other places. Our market cap then was about 2,000 crores. So if you had put in a crore at that time, you would have been up 400 times. Even I didn't know, I didn't put in my own money there, other than what we already held. But yes, it was very small, but we saw the promise that India delivered. And like in 2007, even today, of course, we all feel happy when we get awards. We recognize that, we celebrate that evening, but then we put it and lock it in the cupboard, go back to work the next day as though it's day one. Because it's the journey that is exciting. There is no destination. Our desire is to build world-class companies from India, and that's why part of the reason why we bought out our partner is because we very much believe not only in make in India, but make by India for India.
That's a lovely line, actually. It's all the journey, it's never the destination. So, Sanjeev, whenever this was done, whenever you decided to kind of take over Bajaj Finserv, the financial division, the NBFC, was that a difficult decision? Was there ever a thought in your mind that why are you not looking at, but would have been better to kind of look at a business which was already very well settled versus starting something nearly from the scratch and building it? What went through your mind at that point? Did you ever have this conversation with your dad about this?
Yes, very much so, and many times, because I worked over 10 years in Bajaj Auto. My older brother Rajiv runs that company and has built a fabulous company. I was in a fortunate position where, unlike every startup entrepreneur, they're putting their careers, they're putting their life savings or their family savings or friend savings at stake. I had the security of being part of a large family, but the excitement to go and build a business, it wasn't from scratch, but these were small companies, as you said. The excitement of building that, having that entrepreneurial zeal, the flexibility to put a small team together. And I must say, because we were such a small company compared to Bajaj Auto, luckily we were not in the limelight. I knew we could fail multiple times, and we could take our time to build the business. And it was, as I mentioned earlier, the journey that was exciting. And yes, at that time, as I talk to my senior team members today who were there even in those years, or to my family, we had no idea we would get to this kind of size. That's why I said somebody up there has really been looking after us.
Yeah. You being humble, of course, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of hard work that's gone behind building a company like that. Hard work of a lot of people, you and the team. So not sure how many of you all are aware, but Sanjeev went to the same school where the staff's kids also went to the same school. He then did his engineering in Pune. That's very different from, even at that point, there were a lot of your peers who were otherwise going abroad for undergrad. Quite a few of them even went for schooling abroad. How has that helped you, in the future while you were building the business and even in your personal life?
So, my mother was Maharashtrian, and she came from a middle class but a very educated Maharashtrian family. My father, of course, came from the background of being a freedom fighter. They were very clear that as we grow up, we must grow up in the real India as far as possible. And that's why we stayed on the factory campus. Our senior employees all lived in Pune city. Their kids went to the big schools there. We went to a local, good quality school, but a local school. My children went to that same school, a sister school right over there. Because I believe those foundation years are very important. If you get those right values, till you're 17, 18, hopefully those stay with you forever. And those values, as we all know, doesn't come by what we tell them. It's by what they see around them, what they see with us. So my kids went to birthday parties where the other kid, the birthday kid's parent was a security guard or a driver or a junior employee, and you got a packet of Budani wafers, that little white packet. If you come to Pune, you will see that one little piece of cake and one samosa. And by and large, that's what they got, maybe one more item when they came to our house for my kids' birthdays. And this is not trying to be artificial. It is trying to fit in to the society that you're with. See, it doesn't take much to get into a suit and sit over here. But it's very difficult to go to that if you've not grown up there.
That's a beautiful thought. Sanjeev, for all the people who are building their businesses, there are quite a few who've, we've got our startup awards also. There are guys who are also going to be awarded in the promising business category. What's the message for all of them when they are building up their business? Means they're going to go through a lot of ups and downs. It's not going to be very easy. Every entrepreneur knows that. How do you go about building a real successful business? Few key principles.
Again, I'm not an expert in this area, but some of the things that stayed with us, one, make sure your idea is as unique as possible. The more commoditized you are, the more difficult it is to build a business. Second, be passionate about what you're doing. At least if you have that flexibility where you can chase your passion, then you're in a better spot because it's going to be hard work. It's going to take a long period of time. So you need to persevere. And if you're not passionate, it's very difficult. Everybody goes through down times. We had enough of our failures as well. But you need to be passionate. Third, success is never because of one person. You need to have a team. It doesn't mean that you don't take your own responsibility. So you have to be responsible yourself, but you have to work with the team. So build a good quality team. And lastly, particularly to the startups, find a good VC or PE who can give you a lot of money, then that gives you some breathing space at least.
And we've actually got quite a few PE investors over here. So hopefully they all are looking. Even for the NBFC sector, seeing a lot of startups, there's a lot of disruption happening over there. Y'all are running a very large company, and those come up with their own challenges. Whether it's technology, whether it's just the nimbleness, how are you making sure that all the new companies that are being built in the NBFC sector, that you're able to compete with them and still continue to grow?
So firstly, again, without being immodest, I think they're competing with us. Because as much as we would like to be the challenger, we have now got to a particular size. There are certain things that we do which we think are fundamentally different. One, we've always looked at what's a North Star that we should follow. And over the last 10 years, we benchmark a top global company every couple of years. So from benchmarking Amazon and the ease of finding something that you want, benchmarking Starbucks globally for their reward system, benchmarking Netflix, that once you watch a few TV shows or movies, they know what you want next.
Yeah.
So how do we see that once a customer's taken a loan or an insurance policy from us, we can find out what they want next? So benchmarking global companies, not just from our own sector. Instead, our first benchmark in 2010 was HDFC Bank.
Oh, wow.
And thereafter. So you create a North Star with global excellence, build the capabilities to do that, because nobody else is trying to do that for your sector. This is, you're looking at it globally and for some other sector.
Yeah.
And focus on what is relevant for our business. We've always felt that in financial services, it's a very commoditized business. When I used to be in the motorcycle business a long time back, you could build a motorcycle where if you started, the roar of the engine was sexy enough for somebody to pay you 10% more. I could somehow never get a roar out of an insurance policy or a loan document. So as a result, you were going to be on the commoditized side of the business unless you found relevant innovation. So one of the things we did early on, and I'll just give you one example of the many, is if you went in 2008 to take a loan for a television, because most people didn't have a credit card, so either you paid cash if you're a middle class customer, or you wanted a loan. You went into the store, you liked this nice 36-inch plasma TV, you went with your family, and the store manager said, "Acha, loan chahiye? Okay, come, give me this details, and we'll tell you in 3 days." Because it went to one of the banks over there, they sent somebody the next day to your neighborhood. "Acha, ye yahan rehta hai kya? Kitne saalon se yahan rehta hai? Bartav kaise hai? Raat ko late aata hai kya?" Because you tried to establish credit assessment of the customer. So it was a broken, dirty process. We decided that why can't we build a process where when the guy comes to buy a television with his wife, with 1 or 2 kids, we can tell him, we will deliver the television in the evening so you can watch cricket, you can watch a movie with your kids. And we built the credit scores, the technology, the processes to do that. So from 3 days in 2008, by 2010, we went down to 3 hours for a loan approval. By 2012, we went to 3 minutes. And the last 10 years, these are 30-second approvals. We do about 160,000 loans per day. About 45 million loans this year.
Wow. And how are you all using artificial intelligence to within the company? Is that just a hype, or is that really coming into action even in companies now?
So to a lot of people, it is hype. To a lot of people, they're worried about it because the productivity improvements can be significant. We think for our industry, it is very, very real, and we are seeing significant improvements. So we don't advertise in traditional media. You guys are too expensive. We go to digital media and we create our own
Also
content.
the most effective.
So we develop our own digital content. 80% of that today is done digitally using AI, and we use multiple AI algorithms for that. Since January last year, so for over a year, we are now, if a customer who's, say, an existing customer of ours wants another loan, say a personal loan, and he has contacted us through one of our various channels, email, SMS, or calling into our call center, and wants us to help him out with a fresh loan, we are experimenting where we have a trained Gen AI tool that calls a customer back, will speak in 6 different languages, will also speak in English based on what the customer is asking, responding according to that. We are selling 10,000 loans a month. Nothing compared to 3.5 million a month that we do, but 10,000 loans a month, end to end, by this tool, giving about 150 crores out per month. And of course, we have a set of humans there to make sure that the tool is not making mistakes, it's not hallucinating. But we are seeing very high accuracy levels. So this is very real, at least for sectors like ourselves.
That's interesting. Sanjeev, there's been a lot of debate about the working hours per week. Not to put you in a spot, but what are your working hours like? Are they 70 hours? Are they 90 hours? Are they lesser? Is there, do you believe in the 70-hour per week discussion that's been going on?
I don't work. That's why I can afford to be here at this time. No, we don't control how many hours somebody works.
Yeah.
There could be certain roles. If you're on a factory assembly line, of course, you have to go as per a particular time discipline there.
Yeah.
We look at people's output, and that's very apparent. So what we started doing in our companies about 8-10 years ago is, how do you even rate an employee end of the year?
Yeah.
If somebody likes somebody, especially, okay, we will all know maybe 50, 75, 100 people we work with. Now, today we employ across financial services about 120,000 people. There is no way we can know the bottom 90%. So eventually then it is left to Mr. XYZ and who's reporting to him. If he likes him, that guy gets a bonus. If not, he gets a lower bonus. We matricized 95% of our jobs into monthly, weekly tasks. You do that task, you get your bonus, or you get your incentive. So we try to take the politics out of it and make it as objective as possible. And we think that plays a very important role. Of course, if you're senior management, the role is a lot more qualitative. But then those people you know, because those are the people you're working with.
Yeah.
So we don't go into who's how many times. But yes, we expect people will be, for example, after COVID, I think within a day or two of opening up, once the government allowed us to open up, we were all back at work. We were not working from home. Somebody had a medical problem, somebody was pregnant. Of course, you were compassionate about that. But we said, if we have to be in the innovation business and not at the commodity end of the business, you can't innovate by being on 4 Zoom screens. You have to be together with people. So there's a large qualitative aspect, and I can see people here from the film fraternity. You can't do creativity on screen. You have to be together. You have to mud wrestle. There are ideas in the corridor that you end up coming to your mind. You go to that guy and say, "Arey, aisa kyun nahi kare?" So we want people to be there at work. We don't control how many hours. Based on the output, they get rated, they get rewarded.
But how has your personal working style changed over the years? What was it like when you were in your 40s? What is it now? What are the things that you were looking at in your 30s and 40s? what is it that you now spend more time on?
So I would say till about 15 years ago, I very much had a line role and I had a set of tasks which I had to do, which were given to me by the board. The last 15 years, I've been building our businesses, which means you're identifying teams, you're helping them build strategy, you're focusing on governance. Because a big difference between a completely professional company and one that is family owned and controlled, and with nothing negative towards them, is we are long term. We are here because the family is there, the family's ownership is there, the family's name and credibility is there. So governance, strategy, managing people, managing talent, the next generation talent. We work on people who are getting ready, going to be ready in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. That's where we get involved. And operational stuff is where we have top quality CEOs running our companies with their teams. They end up managing.
Sanjeev, we are going to do a very quick fire round with you. Should be interesting. We would want.
Interesting for you, I don't know about me.
I've got no doubt that you'll be honest with it and as fast as possible. So other than your father, a business leader you really looked up to?
No one else.
Was it? Just, it was the only person was, like from whom you learned was your dad?
I learn from people every day. I learn from people who work with me. I learn from youngsters and what I see. But what my father stood for with his honesty, his hard work, his simplicity, and I know your uncle and your father knew him and spent many, many hours with him.
Yeah.
I have not seen anybody else like that.
Yeah. The best financial advice you've ever received?
So the best financial advice that I've received is save every rupee you can, because it can go to the benefit of either your customer, your employee, or your shareholder.
One tech innovation that excited you the most?
I think the intuitiveness of the Apple iPhone. There are cheaper phones, there are more sophisticated phones, but this just does it right every time.
Yeah. One major fintech trend to watch out for in the next 5 years?
Very clearly, the way Gen AI is progressing.
So we've got leaders from all the parties. India in 2030, what's the biggest opportunity that you see?
I think this is going to be India's decade unless we mess it up. If you look at global politics, if you look at where we are at $2,700 per capita and the growth from this kind of income level, the capabilities that we have, the levels of youth that we have, and a progressive government, I have to say that because government is here. Combination of this and the entrepreneurship of Indians. Look at our startup ecosystem. The next 10 years, I think, are going to be India's golden decade.
And a challenge?
We are competing in a global world. The world wants to do business with us. We have to improve on ease of doing business. At the center, I think a lot has been done. We have to improve in the states. And the states that take the lead will go way ahead everywhere else. The last time I met the Honorable Chief Minister, I told him, you're ignoring Pune. And I'm happy with the kind of announcements that have now been made for Pune. So we have to get our cities up. That's where people work. That's where people live. Industry will do its bit. For example, today our logistics costs, once a product leaves the factory, a physical product, is 16% to total cost. Globally, the most competitive is 6 to 8%. Adding another 8-10%, you can't compete effectively. And there is a lot of improvement that is taking place already. But I believe we have to, it never stops. Each one of us has to see, we have to keep improving to go there.
You know, every time you've met the Honorable Chief Minister, immediately after that, our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Vijay Dardas, met him for Nagpur. And my father, Mr. Rajendra Dardas, met him for Aurangabad. So
now I know where the problem lies.
You know, one stock that you've been holding in your personal portfolio other than Bajaj for the last 5 to 10 years?
So, you know, this is interesting, and my uncles are all over here. I think we must be probably the only family that doesn't own anything other than our own stocks. We have never believed in investing elsewhere. We've said if our shareholders put their money, then we must put it, at least materially.
Get early to work or stay late at work?
Well, I guess it depends on, I get to work by about 9 or so. I don't leave late. I leave by about 5. I work out in the evening, then I work a couple of hours more in the night. Luckily, my role gives me flexibility to do that.
And last, how do you respond when a telemarketer calls you and pitches you to buy the Bajaj insurance?
I create my own memes.
Tell me, have you ever, I have to ask you this because all of us over here, with, show of hands, how many of us have got calls from Bajaj insurance? And there are quite a few. So, including Karthik, he's raised his hands. I don't know how do they get your number also, Karthik, actually. Yeah. But have you ever played a prank with the person and have you gone through the whole cycle of, tell me what are the rates and everything?
So, my industry being regulated is so sensitive, and Mr. Jayant Patil was here in his earlier role as finance minister also. He knows how strong our regulators are. So we can't afford to play any pranks even by mistake. So I can tell you today, the point is 95% of those calls is not us. It's third-party distributors claiming to be us. 2-3-4% could be us. That's why we have a do not disturb number on our website. You click on that, and we will not disturb you. But we have to keep in mind that if we are today doing 45 million loans a year, we bank roughly 45 million payments a month. We get for such harassment about 400 complaints a month. That is about 0.006%. Now we are trying to see how do we get 400 to 300 to 200 because those 400 also end up becoming irate customers. But it's so difficult to take it to zero. And then you have all the memes coming. So I can understand that. It's part of our job. We have to bear with it. But that's what the numbers are like.
So everyone, a big round of applause for Sanjeev Bajaj. Sanjeev, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Complete honor.